The sound of sirens cut through the quiet night, flashing red and blue lights over the small suburban street. A group of neighbors had gathered near a narrow alleyway, their faces pale with shock. On the cold asphalt lay Mia Johnson's boyfriend, Liam Carter, lifeless, a pool of blood spreading around him. Mia, only 16 and 6 months pregnant, screamed as she ran toward him, her hands trembling, her heart breaking. She couldn't understand what had just happened. How could someone so close to her be gone in an instant? And why did it feel like her own mother, Carla Johnson, was hiding something? Mia's cries echoed into the night. "Liam, please, don't leave me," she shouted, tears streaming down her face. Carla rushed to her side, her face pale, her eyes darting nervously. "Mia, honey, you need to calm down. Everything's going to be okay," she said, but her voice quivered, betraying her. It wasn't the comfort Mia needed. Something about her mother's calmness felt wrong, like a mask hiding a deeper secret. Police officers moved quickly, securing the scene and questioning witnesses. A man who claimed to be jogging in the alley said he heard a single gunshot but saw no one. The detectives noticed something strange. There were no signs of a robbery, no footprints leading away, nothing that suggested a random act of violence. Everything pointed toward something personal, someone who knew Liam, someone who might have been close to the family. As Mia stared at Liam's body, she noticed a note tucked in his jacket pocket. Trembling, she pulled it out. It was messy handwriting, almost frantic. "I'm sorry. You have to forgive me. I didn't mean for this to happen." The words made no sense. Who would write this? Liam had no enemies, or so Mia thought. Her mind raced with questions she couldn't answer, her young mind trying to process grief, confusion, and fear all at once. Detective Harris knelt beside the body, examining the scene carefully. "This wasn't a mugging," he said, looking at Carla. "We think the killer knew Liam. Someone he trusted." Carla's eyes flicked toward Mia, and for a split second, the detective saw something. Hesitation, fear, maybe even guilt. But before they could question her further, a call came in from dispatch. There was evidence found back at the Johnson home. Something critical. Mia's stomach churned. "Evidence? What could they find at our house?" she whispered. Carla's face paled, her hands tightening into fists. She avoided Mia's gaze, saying only, It's nothing, sweetie. Don't worry about it." But Mia didn't believe her. She knew the look in her mother's eyes. It was the look of someone hiding something dangerous, something that could shatter their lives completely. Hours passed, and Mia sat in the police car, staring blankly at the ground. Liam's last moments played in her head over and over. She remembered their laughter in the park just a week ago, the way he held her hand when she got scared, the way he promised they would face the world together. And now he was gone. Gone forever. And the most horrifying thought of all lingered. What if the danger was closer than she ever imagined? The detectives returned with grim expressions. "We need to ask your mother some questions, Mia," Detective Harris said softly. Carla nodded, her lips pressed together tightly. "Of course. I'll answer everything," she said, but her eyes betrayed her nerves. Mia's heart raced. The thought that her own mother could be involved was impossible, wasn't it? When Carla was escorted to a separate room for questioning, Mia couldn't stay still. She paced back and forth, her mind torn between denial and creeping suspicion. She remembered the argument she had overheard just the night before. Liam had come home upset after a disagreement at school, and Carla had been strangely quiet, almost cold. Mia had thought it was nothing at the time, but now, with Liam dead, everything seemed sinister. Suddenly, an officer approached Mia with a solemn look. "We found something in the alley. A shell casing from a gun," he said. "It's been sent to the lab for analysis. But there's more. Someone saw a woman leaving the alley right after the shot. They couldn't see her face clearly, but they said she looked familiar, like someone Liam knew." Mia froze. Her blood ran cold. The thought of her mother, even the possibility, was unbearable. She shook her head violently, refusing to accept it. Carla could never, but the seed of doubt was planted. And once doubt grows, it doesn't easily fade. Hours later, Carla returned to Mia. She hugged her daughter tightly, whispering, "We'll get through this together, honey." But Mia noticed the tremor in her mother's voice. Something about the hug didn't feel like comfort. It felt like a warning to stay silent, to not ask questions. Detective Harris pulled Mia aside. "We're going to have to look into your family, Mia," he said gently. "Sometimes people close to victims are involved, even if we don't want to believe it. We need your help to understand everything." Mia felt as though the world was collapsing around her. Her mind screamed for answers, but her heart feared the truth. Could her mother really be involved? No, it had to be someone else. But then she remembered the way Carla avoided her gaze, the way her hands shook, the way her words seemed rehearsed. A chilling realization settled in. Maybe she wasn't imagining it. Later that night, Mia lay in her bed, Liam's photo clutched to her chest. Her phone buzzed. It was a message from an unknown number. "You don't know the whole story. Don't trust anyone, not even your mother." Mia's hands shook violently. Her mind raced, her heart pounding. Who could it be? Was it someone trying to help her, or warn her? Or was it a threat? She wanted answers, but the answers she feared might destroy everything she thought she knew. And then, just as she was about to call the number back, the bedroom door creaked open, and standing in the doorway was Carla, her face pale, eyes wide, and hands trembling, holding something in her hand. Something that would change everything Mia thought she knew about her family and about Liam's death. Mia froze. Her stomach turned over. Her mother whispered, barely audible, "Mia, I didn't mean for this to happen." And in that moment, Mia realized the horrifying truth. The person who killed Liam might have been the one she trusted most in the world, her own mother. Mia's eyes were locked on her mother, Carla Johnson, who still stood in the doorway holding a small, blood-stained box. The room felt impossibly cold, and Mia's stomach churned as the realization sank in. Whatever Carla had, it was connected to Liam's death. She wanted to scream, to run, to call the police, but her legs felt frozen, rooted to the carpet. Carla's hands shook as she stepped into the room, avoiding Mia's gaze. "Mia, you have to understand. I didn't mean for him to die," she whispered, voice breaking. Her words made no sense to Mia, only fueling the terror building in her chest. "Mom, what is that? What did you do?" Mia's voice trembled, a mix of fear and anger. I just wanted to protect you," Carla said, tears rolling down her cheeks. "I didn't want anyone to hurt you or the baby. It was supposed to stop everything before it got worse." Mia's heart raced. Her mind couldn't process what her mother was saying. "Stop everything? Mom, you killed him? You killed Liam." The words slipped out before she could stop herself, each syllable striking the room like a hammer. Carla flinched. "Mia, listen to me. I didn't mean to, it just happened. Just happened." Mia screamed. "He's dead. He's gone because of you. He was going to be a father." The tears she had been holding back poured down her face. Anger, grief, and betrayal collided, leaving her shaking violently. Carla dropped the box onto the bed, and its contents spilled out. A small gun, a pair of gloves, and a crumpled note that looked eerily like the one Mia had found in Liam's jacket. The handwriting matched Carla's. Mia stared in horror. This was the evidence that could destroy everything. "I didn't mean for it to go that far," Carla sobbed. "I just wanted him gone. I thought if he left you'd be safe. I didn't think it would." Her voice trailed off as she covered her face with her hands. Mia felt her knees give out and she sank to the floor. Her world had turned upside down. Everything she had believed about her mother, her family, and even Liam's death was a lie. "Why? Why would you do this?" she whispered, barely audible. Carla reached out as if to touch her daughter's arm, but Mia recoiled. "You're supposed to protect me, Mom. Not kill him." Her voice cracked as she sobbed uncontrollably. The sound of sirens in the distance reminded Mia that the police were still outside. Any second now, they could come in, and the truth would be revealed. She looked at the gun on the bed, the gloves, the note, and realized the evidence was undeniable. Carla had killed Liam. For the next few hours, Mia sat in silence while Carla cried beside her. The room was filled with the weight of grief and guilt, but also a strange, suffocating fear. Mia's mind raced with questions she couldn't answer. What would happen next? Would the police arrest her mother? Would her family be destroyed? The next morning, the tension in the house was unbearable. Neighbors whispered as they passed by, and detectives continued to gather evidence from the alley where Liam had been found. Mia avoided everyone, barely eating or sleeping. She couldn't escape the images in her mind. Liam's lifeless eyes, his smile just days ago, her mother's tear-streaked face holding the weapon that ended his life. Detective Harris visited again, asking Mia more questions. "Did you notice anything unusual about your mother recently?" he asked gently, his eyes kind but probing. Mia wanted to lie, to protect her mother, but the truth clawed its way out. I don't know. She's been acting strange. I didn't think," her voice faltered, and she broke down. The detective nodded silently, taking note. As the day went on, Mia tried to make sense of everything. She remembered the fights Liam had had with other teens at school, the way her mother would often intervene, and the arguments she overheard between Carla and Liam. Each memory seemed harmless at the time, but now, in light of the murder, they felt like warning signs she had ignored. The media began to swarm. Reporters from local news outlets called the Johnson house repeatedly, broadcasting headlines about the teen tragedy in suburbia. Mia felt like she was living in a nightmare she couldn't wake from. Every time she glanced at her mother, she saw both the woman who had raised her and the person who had taken Liam's life. The contradiction was unbearable. Days passed, and Mia tried to continue with her life, going to school for a few hours, avoiding her friends, and spending time with the baby growing inside her. But the secret weighed heavily on her. She couldn't focus, couldn't eat properly, and couldn't sleep. Every sound in the house made her jump. She felt trapped in her own home, haunted by what she now knew. One evening, Mia returned from school to find Carla pacing in the living room, wringing her hands. "Mia, I think they're on to me," Carla said, her voice trembling. "I don't know how much longer I can keep this from them. They'll figure it out eventually." Mia's fear skyrocketed. "Mom, you have to turn yourself in. It's the right thing to do," she shouted. "Liam didn't deserve this. I didn't deserve this." Carla shook her head violently. "No, I can't. If they arrest me, what happens to you and the baby? I can't let you suffer for what I did." The conversation ended with a tense silence. Both mother and daughter knew that the walls around them were closing in. The police were investigating, evidence was piling up, and Carla's lies were becoming harder to maintain. Then, just as Mia was about to go to bed, her phone buzzed. A message appeared on the screen. "I know what your mother did. Meet me tonight if you want the truth." Mia's hands shook as she read the message. Who could it be? A neighbor? A friend of Liam's? Or someone who had witnessed the crime? She felt both terrified and desperate. She wanted to know the truth, to uncover every secret her mother had tried to hide, but she also feared what that truth might cost her. Night fell, and Mia couldn't sleep. She lay awake, staring at the ceiling, thinking about Liam, the baby, and the mother she once trusted completely. Her thoughts were interrupted by a sudden noise downstairs, a door creaking, footsteps on the wooden floor. Her heart stopped. Could it be Carla? Or was it someone else? Mia grabbed the baseball bat she kept under her bed, her hands shaking violently. The footsteps grew louder, closer, until a shadow appeared at the bottom of the stairs. It was a man she had never seen before, his face hidden in darkness. "Mia, don't be afraid," he said quietly. "I know what your mother did. But there's more you need to know, things she never told you." Mia's blood ran cold. Who was he? What did he know? And how much danger was she really in? She wanted to scream, to run, to call the police, but she felt paralyzed. Her world, already shattered, was about to become even darker. Before she could respond, the man stepped forward, and a glint of something in his hand caught the moonlight. A piece of evidence, a photo, something that would reveal the full truth about Liam's death and her mother's secrets. Mia's breath caught in her throat. Her mother's crime was only the beginning. The storm she had been swept into was far from over. Mia's heart pounded so loudly she was sure the stranger at her door could hear it. His hand held a folded envelope, the edges worn and creased as if it had been carried around for a long time. "Mia, you need to see this," he said softly, his voice calm but urgent. "It's about your mother and Liam." Mia's hands shook as she stepped closer, her mind racing. "Who are you? How do you know about my mom?" she whispered, fear lacing every word. The man hesitated for a moment, then pulled back a corner of the envelope to reveal photographs. Mia gasped. The photos were of Liam, taken in moments she hadn't seen. But it wasn't just normal pictures. It showed him arguing with someone late at night, and then, horrifyingly, her mother's face appeared in the background of one. She was standing in the shadows, holding something that looked like a gun. Mia's hands flew to her mouth. "No, it can't be. Mom," her mind refused to accept what she was seeing, but every detail confirmed the nightmare she had begun to suspect. The photos were undeniable. Her mother had been at the scene before Liam died. The stranger spoke again. "I'm someone who used to work near your neighborhood. I saw things that night, and I collected what I could without anyone noticing. I wanted you to know the truth before it was too late." Mia shook her head violently. Why would she do this? Why Liam? Her voice cracked, the tears spilling over. The man lowered his voice. She was scared. "You know how protective she's always been of you. But she made a choice, a terrible, deadly choice. She thought getting rid of him was the only way to protect you and the baby. But it's worse than that. There's more you need to understand." Mia's stomach churned. She felt like she was on the edge of falling into a bottomless pit. Everything she had trusted, everyone she had loved, now felt like it could betray her. "More? What do you mean?" The man handed her the envelope. Inside, besides the photos, was a small note written in Carla's handwriting. "I did it to protect her. I didn't mean for it to end this way. I couldn't let anyone hurt my daughter. I had no choice." Mia's hands shook as she read the note. She knew I was pregnant. "That's why she did this," she whispered. The weight of her mother's actions crushed her chest, making it hard to breathe. She had always known her mother cared for her deeply, but this was beyond love. It was terror disguised as protection. Just then, a loud knock echoed through the house. Mia jumped. Her mother's voice called from the other room. "Mia, are you okay?" "Who's there?" The stranger's eyes flicked toward the sound. "You have to decide quickly, Mia. You can't let her know I'm here. She'll try to take the evidence or destroy it." Mia's mind raced. Part of her wanted to run and hide, part of her wanted to confront her mother with the truth. But the stranger's warning made her hesitate. Her instincts told her this was bigger than her, and if she acted carelessly, the consequences could be deadly. Okay, she said finally, her voice trembling. "I'll take it. But you have to leave before she sees you." The man nodded and backed toward the door. "Be careful, Mia. Trust no one until you know the whole story." With that, he slipped into the night, leaving Mia standing alone in her room, clutching the envelope that could destroy her family. For the rest of the night, Mia couldn't sleep. She kept replaying the photos, the note, the memory of her mother standing in her bedroom with the weapon that had killed Liam. She felt trapped between fear, grief, and disbelief. Her baby kicked, reminding her that she had to survive, that she had to be strong, even if the world around her was falling apart. The next morning, the tension in the Johnson house was unbearable. Carla moved around the kitchen, pretending to make breakfast, but Mia could see the nervous energy radiating off her. Every glance, every movement seemed calculated. Carla smiled faintly when Mia entered, but it didn't reach her eyes. Mia decided she needed answers. She approached her mother cautiously. "Mom, we need to talk. About Liam, about everything." Carla's face tightened. "Mia, now is not the time," she said, her voice almost pleading. "We'll talk when things calm down. I promise." Mia shook her head. "No, Mom. I need to know the truth now. Did you kill him?" Carla froze. The air in the room seemed to thicken. "Mia, I did what I thought was right," she said finally, her voice barely above a whisper. "I didn't mean for him to die. I thought I could protect you." Mia stepped back, her chest tightening. "Protect me? Mom, he's dead. And it's your fault. How can you say it's right to kill someone to protect me?" Carla's eyes filled with tears. I know it's wrong. I thought if he left your life, nothing bad would happen. I didn't think it would go this far. I never meant to hurt him, or you. But I panicked. I lost control." Mia felt a mix of rage, sorrow, and disbelief. Her mother had tried to justify murder as protection. Her mind refused to accept it, but the photos and the stranger's evidence made it undeniable. Liam was dead because of Carla. Days went by, and detectives intensified their investigation. They began to ask questions about Carla's whereabouts the night Liam died. Witnesses came forward, and every detail seemed to point toward her. Mia tried to distance herself from her mother, spending hours in her room with the envelope, the photos, and the note. She needed to understand every detail, every motive, every secret that had led to this tragedy. Then came the turning point. Mia received a call from the police. Detective Harris's voice was calm but serious. "Mia, we have reason to believe your mother may be involved in Liam's death. We need to speak with you, and with her, about what happened." Mia's heart sank. The time she had feared had come. Carla had to face the consequences of her actions, and Mia knew this could change their lives forever. But before she could process it, she noticed something strange. A set of tire tracks outside the house, freshly made, leading away from the driveway. Panic surged through her. Who was out there? Could it be someone trying to protect Carla, or someone coming after Mia now that the truth was out? She ran to the window, peering out into the darkness. The street was empty. But then, a shadow moved across the lawn, vanishing behind the trees. Mia's pulse raced. She felt hunted, exposed, and vulnerable. Carla appeared behind her, her voice trembling. "Mia, we need to go. Now. I can fix this. I can." Mia spun around, her eyes blazing. "No, Mom. I can't let you do this again. I can't. I won't." For the first time, Carla looked defeated, powerless. Her hands trembled, her face pale, and her eyes filled with desperation. "Mia, please. I'm your mother. I'm trying to protect you and the baby." But Mia shook her head. "You're not protecting me. You're destroying everything. Liam is dead, and if you don't stop, someone else will get hurt." The tension reached its peak. Carla's eyes darted toward the front door, then back at Mia. She seemed to make a decision, and in a flash, she grabbed the keys to the car. "We have to leave," she said, her voice urgent. "Before they come for me." Mia's chest tightened. She realized that Carla wasn't just guilty. She was ready to run, to escape the law, dragging Mia into the nightmare. The stakes had just escalated, and Mia had no choice but to act. As they reached the front door, the sound of a car pulling up outside froze them both. Headlights cut through the darkness, illuminating the driveway. Detective Harris stepped out of the vehicle, his expression serious but calm. "Carla Johnson, we need to talk," he said firmly. Carla froze, her plan to escape evaporating in an instant. Mia felt a strange mix of relief and fear. Relief that her mother could no longer hide, but fear of what would happen next, how the truth would unfold, and how far her mother's actions would ripple through their lives. And in that moment, Mia realized that her world had changed forever. Liam was gone. Carla's secrets were unraveling, and the choices she made next would determine whether justice or tragedy would win. The night air felt heavy as Carla Johnson stepped back, her hands shaking, while Detective Harris and two uniformed officers approached the house. Mia stood behind her mother, her heart pounding, torn between fear, anger, and relief. Part of her wanted to run, part of her wanted to scream, and part of her wanted to collapse. "Carla Johnson, step away from the door," Detective Harris ordered. Carla's eyes darted to Mia, and for a moment, it seemed she might make a desperate move. Run, resist, do anything to escape, but then she froze. She dropped her hands to her sides and looked at her daughter. Mia could see the panic, guilt, and desperation all mixed together in her mother's expression. For a moment, Mia felt a strange mix of pity and rage. "Mom, this is it," she whispered, almost to herself. "It's over." Carla swallowed hard. "Mia, I'm sorry. I tried to protect you. I never wanted this," she murmured. But the officers weren't waiting for apologies. Detective Harris stepped forward. "Carla Johnson, you are under arrest for the murder of Liam Carter. Anything you say can and will be used against you in court." Carla's shoulders slumped. For a fleeting moment, she looked like the woman Mia had always known, the caring mother, worried and protective. But the shadow of what she had done was undeniable. Handcuffs clicked around her wrists, and she was led toward the patrol car. Her eyes never left Mia's, filled with a pleading sorrow that Mia couldn't answer. As Carla was driven away, Mia felt an emptiness she had never known before. Liam was gone, her mother was a criminal, and she was left alone to face the consequences of their actions. She clutched her stomach, feeling the baby kick, and realized she had to be strong. She had to survive. But how could she ever trust anyone again? The days that followed were a whirlwind of police interviews, reporters pounding on the door, and neighbors whispering behind closed curtains. Mia stayed mostly in her room, holding the envelope of evidence the stranger had given her, reviewing every photo, every note, and every clue. She couldn't stop thinking about the moments she had missed. The warning signs she hadn't noticed, the arguments, the way Carla's eyes sometimes flicked nervously when Liam was around. Detective Harris visited again, asking for her help to fill in the gaps of the investigation. "Mia, we need you to tell us everything you know about your mother's behavior in the weeks leading up to Liam's death. Every argument, every odd incident, it could help build the case." Mia recounted everything she could remember, from small, seemingly insignificant details to the terrifying confrontation she had witnessed when Carla held the gun. Every memory made her stomach churn, but she knew the truth had to be told. Liam deserved justice, and she needed to protect herself and her baby. Then came another shocking revelation. The police discovered that Carla hadn't acted alone. There were phone records showing calls to a neighbor who had a criminal history, a man named Victor Reyes. Investigators suspected that Carla had asked Victor for help in confronting Liam, but something had gone horribly wrong, escalating to murder. Mia felt her world spin again. Not only had her mother killed Liam, but someone else had been involved, someone dangerous who could now be targeting her. The nightmare seemed endless. One night, as Mia tried to sleep, she heard a soft knock at her bedroom window. Her heart leaped into her throat. Slowly, she got out of bed and crept toward the window. Outside, she saw a shadowy figure, Victor Reyes. She gasped and stumbled backward. Who are you? What do you want?" she whispered. Victor's voice was calm but chilling. "Mia, I didn't mean for this to happen. I just did what Carla asked. But now, I can't let anyone talk. I have to make sure everything stays quiet." Panic surged through Mia. She ran to her phone to call 911, but Victor lunged forward, smashing the phone out of her hand. Mia grabbed a nearby lamp, swinging it with all her strength. Victor staggered but recovered quickly, his eyes dark and dangerous. "Stay back!" Mia shouted, her voice shaking. "I'm calling the police." Victor smirked. "You think they'll get here in time? No one can protect you now, Mia. Not your mother, not anyone." Mia's mind raced. She had to survive, had to protect the baby, had to escape. She remembered the baseball bat under her bed and grabbed it, holding it tightly as Victor advanced. Her fear turned into determination. She wasn't going to let him hurt her. Just then, the sound of sirens pierced the night air. Victor froze, realizing help had arrived sooner than he expected. Mia ran to the door, flinging it open. Officers stormed the yard, shouting commands at Victor. He hesitated, then tried to flee, but they tackled him to the ground, pinning him while Mia screamed in relief. Detective Harris arrived moments later, taking in the scene. "Mia, are you okay?" he asked, his voice filled with concern. Mia nodded, tears streaming down her face. I think so," she whispered. Thank you for coming when you did." Victor Reyes was arrested, and the full scope of Carla's crime began to come into light. She had planned the murder, involved Victor, and tried to cover it all up. Every lie, every secret, every act of desperation unraveled in front of the authorities. Mia listened as the detectives explained what they had discovered, how close she had come to losing everything. But even as relief settled over her, Mia couldn't shake the feeling that the nightmare wasn't completely over. Carla was behind bars, Victor was arrested, but the consequences of their actions, the pain, the grief, and the public scrutiny, were far from gone. Mia's life had been shattered, and nothing would ever be the same again. In the days that followed, Mia faced the media. Reporters wanted every detail of Liam's death, every secret of Carla's actions. Mia stayed strong, refusing to speak directly, letting Detective Harris handle the questions. But she could feel the eyes of the world on her, judging, whispering, and analyzing every choice she made. Then, one afternoon, a letter arrived at the house. It was unsigned, the handwriting familiar but distorted. Mia opened it with trembling hands. Inside was a single message. "You think this is over? It's only just begun. Watch your back." Mia's blood ran cold. Despite Carla and Victor being behind bars, someone out there still wanted to manipulate, intimidate, or hurt her. The nightmare had not ended. The storm that had begun with Liam's death was far from over, and Mia realized she had to be vigilant, strong, and clever to survive what was coming next. And just as she put down the letter, she heard a knock at the front door. The sound was soft but deliberate. Her heart raced. Could it be a friend, the police, or someone else entirely? Whoever it was, Mia knew that opening that door could change everything again. Mia stood frozen at the front door, her hands trembling as she clutched the letter that had terrified her. The words echoed in her mind. "You think this is over? It's only just begun. Watch your back." Her pulse pounded in her ears. Who could be outside? After everything, her mother behind bars, Victor arrested, how could danger still be so close? She took a deep breath and peeked through the peephole. Outside, a man stood in the shadows, hands in his pockets. She couldn't see his face clearly, but something about his posture made her stomach twist with fear. Mia wanted to run, to slam the door, but curiosity, and a desperate need to know, pushed her to act. She opened the door a crack. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The man stepped closer. "Mia, my name is Daniel. I knew Liam. I'm a friend. I think you should see this." He held out a USB drive. "It has recordings, conversations, messages, things your mother and Victor did. You need to know everything before it's too late." Mia's hands shook violently as she took the USB. Why are you giving this to me?" she asked, suspicious but desperate. Daniel looked her in the eyes. "Because no one else will. If the truth stays hidden, it could destroy you or someone else. Your mother isn't the only one responsible. There are people who wanted Liam gone, and this shows everything." Mia's mind raced. Could she trust him? Could she risk it? But the urge to uncover the full truth, to understand Liam's death, was stronger than her fear. She took the drive and nodded. "Thank you, but you need to leave now." Daniel hesitated, then backed away into the shadows and vanished. Mia closed the door and locked it, her hands still shaking. She sat at her desk, plugged the USB into her laptop, and began to watch. The recordings were horrifying. They revealed how Carla and Victor had plotted Liam's death, every lie, every plan, every moment that led to that fatal night. But there was more. Other voices, other names, people Mia had never suspected, appeared in the recordings, suggesting that Liam's death had been part of a bigger, darker network of threats. People who had been watching Mia and her mother, manipulating events from behind the scenes. Mia's stomach churned. Her world was even bigger and darker than she had imagined. She had survived her mother's betrayal, avoided Victor's threat, but now the danger seemed to stretch beyond anyone she knew. The next morning, Detective Harris returned. Mia handed him the USB drive, explaining everything. He listened carefully, his expression growing graver by the minute. "Mia, this is serious," he said finally. "What you have here could expand the investigation far beyond your mother and Victor. We'll need to act quickly to protect you and your baby." Mia nodded, swallowing the lump in her throat. She realized she couldn't just be a victim anymore. She had to be strong, to help uncover the full truth, to ensure justice for Liam, and to protect herself. Days later, Carla went on trial. Mia sat in the courtroom, clutching her mother's absence with a mix of fear, anger, and grief. Carla's actions were laid bare. The murder, the involvement of Victor, the lies, the cover-up. The photos, the notes, the USB evidence. They all painted a terrifying picture of what Mia had lived through. When the verdict came, Carla was found guilty of murder and conspiracy. Justice for Liam had been served, but the emotional wound in Mia's heart was still raw. She had lost her first love, and her mother, the person who should have protected her, had betrayed her in the most unimaginable way. But life had to go on. Mia focused on her baby, preparing for a future that would be different from anything she had imagined. Friends and neighbors offered support, helping her navigate the aftermath of the trauma. And although the shadow of Liam's death and her mother's betrayal would always linger, Mia felt a growing sense of strength. She had survived the impossible, and she would keep surviving. Then, months later, Mia received a letter in the mail. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Inside was a simple note: "We're still watching. Be careful." Her blood ran cold. The nightmare might have ended for her mother, but the danger and the secrets were far from over. Someone had been manipulating events from the shadows all along, and Mia knew the fight for her life, and the life of her child, wasn't finished. Mia sat quietly, thinking about Liam, about her mother, about all the people who had hurt her, and all the people who had helped her. She realized that surviving wasn't just about escaping danger. It was about learning to navigate a world where betrayal could come from anyone, and strength was the only weapon she had left. As she looked out the window, she saw her baby kicking inside her belly. The sight gave her hope. Liam may have been gone, her mother may have been a criminal, and the world may have been filled with danger, but she still had life, and she still had a reason to fight. Mia knew that she couldn't let fear control her. She would be careful, yes, but she would not be paralyzed. She would face whatever came next with courage, with determination, and with the memory of Liam guiding her. The story of Liam's death, Carla's betrayal, and the hidden threats surrounding her life had changed Mia forever. She was no longer just a teenager. She was a survivor. And though the shadows of the past would always linger, she was determined to take control of her future and protect the child she carried, no matter the cost. And as the sun set over the quiet neighborhood, Mia made a silent promise. She would uncover every secret, confront every danger, and ensure that no one could ever harm her or her baby again. The nightmare had ended, but for Mia, the fight for justice, safety, and truth was only just beginning.